again, it's on.
Ladies, gentlemen, it's your peoples. It's Opinion Nation. We back for another forum. That's what we do. Y'all like us, right? We good, yeah. Everybody, okay, cool. Kenny's here. Kendo. Primo is here. Primo. TTT is here. TTTO. And the lovely Valerie.
Hey.
Making a sandwich. I asked her if it was a sandwich or sandwich. Is it a sandwich or a sandwich, Val?
It's a sandwich.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't eat that. I eat sandwiches.
Because it's made by a witch. That's what she's saying. It's a sandwich.
Wow, did you just call Val a witch, bro? What are you doing?
She's doing the spells with that sandwich right now, homie. She's creating sandwich.
I know
She's
one in my belly. That's what I do know.
She's creating something over there, man.
Val, do you know how to make a sandwich, or are you just only a sandwich kind of woman?
My sandwiches are very good. He's on a sandwich.
Okay. Have you ever made a sandwich?
No.
Okay. All right. and we'll leave it there. But again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Opinion Nation. Comedy superstar, that's Hassan McCullough, right? And your boy Primo met Val too. There'll probably be some other folks coming in, but if not, we still have some talking to do. Bars. So let's get to it. This week, I was talking to a couple Opinion Nation cats. Some cats was like, yo, man, we should continue that conversation from last week. It needs a part 2. You know, that sounds solid. That's true. Some other cats were like, yo, what about we're supposed to talk about the White House and how what's her name from the women's championship? Anybody know? Don't nobody know the young
women's championship.
Yeah,
Angel Reese.
LSU. Yeah, the young lady from LSU. Somebody was like, yo, we forgot to talk about that. So what I thought we'd do this week is really try to understand where all these talking points come from in the first place.
Ooh, uh-oh.
What do you mean, Don? What do you mean by that? Well, listen, I know an internet DJ, and he once said something around the effect of, if you didn't write the narrative, can you stand with the narrative? I'm paraphrasing, but this internet DJ said this. It's one of the most profound things I've ever heard him say. Now, I would like to ask the panel today, because this is like a lotus. This question is like a lotus. It has a bunch of layers that we can open up, a bunch of petals. Kendo Mickens with the 16 K camera. That camera crisping them up. Like, I don't know. Kenny, who wrote the narrative?
The narrative changes every day. No one wrote it. You wrote it. We wrote it. There's no author to the narrative.
That's a very profound answer. That's an interesting answer. Valerie, I'm going to ask you to put the mayo down for just about 17 seconds. Valerie, who wrote the narrative that we live under on a day-to-day basis? Who wrote that narrative? Who writes that narrative?
Wow. Well, I feel like the government tries to write it, but we're in control of it. We can control our own narratives.
Okay.
But the government tries to influence us with their narratives every day. And it depends on, how you want to move.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my answer.
Yeah. That sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, I think so.
Yo.
There's a narrative, bro. There is a narrative. Like, even if the narrative is I wake up at 6 a.m, I go to the gym, I go to Starbucks, I come back, watch some Jenny Jones. I might be dating myself, but you know what I mean.
Wow.
Like whose narrative are you living under, Supreme?
I write the narrative for me. I mean, everybody write their own story, and now who decides to take the pages and rewrite them and flip them and put them to the masses and put some his story and some live story and some your story and some whoever story on it. But the original narrative is written by each of us individually. We write our own story, I believe.
Got it. Hey, Sign. So look, Max, I want to spin it a little bit. Let's move the conversation a little bit.
Okay.
Who taught you the narrative you knew when you were a child? The first narrative, who taught you that narrative? And what did it consist of loosely? I mean, narratives are 360, and of course, we're talking culture here. But who taught you the tenets of how to get down on planet Earth? And what did it really sound like? Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess from the very beginning, my parents would teach me the narrative, but then teachers from school would teach the other part of the narrative from that part.
The other part. Okay.
And then you have television that teaches the narrative on another part. So, the parents is first, and then you get schooled and you get indoctrinated. You go to school and you get schooled.
It's kind of
that
culture.
narrative.
It's like levels. So like I said, it's like a lotus, because the petals are like parenting, school, media. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where narratives are kind of, I like it. Very interesting. I'm actually a little bit surprised at some of the answers, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I thought some folks would at least say the Almighty is in control of the narrative. Ain't nobody even get a shout out.
Damn.
The Almighty.
That's true.
I mean, listen, no. I'm not saying you should. I'm not trying to tell a person what opinion to have. I'm just impressed that nobody gave any credit for the narration of said piece. Okay, all right, we out here. All who? What you mean? What you mean? I'm out here doing
because we have free will, so that's why.
Yep.
Maybe
okay,
that. Yeah.
Okay. See? Free will.
Yeah.
We
have free will, but
don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay,
nope.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay,
See that?
okay.
That's like that's waffling.
No,
suburban folk call that waffling. He's a waffler. The suburban call that waffling. Don't do that.
I'm just saying. I was saying what other people on the panel would say. We have free will. That's basically what I was saying.
Now you doing their opinion. I think that Kendo Mickens can speak for said self. Can you not, Kendo?
Without a doubt.
There it
Without
is.
a doubt.
Kenny.
One, I would ask you, what is your idea of a narrative? So before we say we didn't speak to God or we didn't ask about God, I want to know what you call a narrative.
That what you want to know. And you know what? Let's know.
Oh shit, my phone died.
Oh, okay. Let's know what a narrative is. So I don't even mess with it. Well, this is Merriam-Webster, but this is Merriam-Webster. Can y'all see the screen? Can y'all see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough,
this
dog.
is Merriam-Webster via Bing's chat bot.
Got my focals on.
Did y'all hear what I just said? See, ain't nobody.
What you just say?
Everything is going over. Everybody. I said, this ain't the regular gist. Let me just Google a definition. No, I'm hanging out with Bing's chat bot. If anybody is up on life right about now, because I'm here to tell you, if you're not up on life right about now, you'll know why I'm so animated and excited once you do get up on life and understand what's popping off out here. But yes, so the narrative definition, a spoken or written account of connected events, a story. Let's hit that one more time.
Story.
A narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events, a story.
Oh, right.
A narrative is a story out here in these pieces, huh?
I understand where you're going at now.
But Pippin, though, when I was a kid, actually, Supreme gonna know this. Can we all see each other again? Yeah, we back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We can see each other, right? We good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll figure this out one day. When we were children at that place called the Met, right? Pentecostal church that me and Primo grew up in. Before I got knowledge yourself, you get knowledge. But when I was there, enjoying myself, having a great time, me and Primo, we knew that, actually, I don't even think we could say the word lie. I think that when we talked about a lie, we say, that's a story. Remember that, Preem?
Yeah, you're telling the story.
From the same generation. Remember story? That's a story. Now, Preem.
Yeah,
Now, wait.
right.
Ken, look, I tell y'all, Ken's from an advanced culture. Look, Kenny is just from. Kenny had hustlers around him, so Kenny might have been using the word liar or even fuck
No,
you
sir, no.
at early.
My
What?
pop was adamant about that. You use the word lie. I couldn't call an adult a liar.
Woo.
Oh,
I had to say he telling a story.
And there it is.
And then sometimes, especially if my father knew that it absolutely wasn't the truth, I just look at him and walk away.
Yeah.
I'll let him deal with the adult.
With the lie.
Yeah. You deal with that lie. You know I've been with you. You my alibi today.
The lie that I can't call, but you can very well see that it's a lie, Dad. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a story.
You know that. That's the story.
Cronus the ill. Cronice. So you just gonna be up in here? You spectating this week? Okay, cool. Okay. I mean, domestic dispute behind black curtains. Okay, cool. Whatever's happening. Well, so a story is an interesting thing that we were taught to call a lie when we were young. It says a narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events, a story. So when we get here, there is a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
There's a solid narrative. I mean, especially those of us that are, 50. Matter of fact, everybody that's here at this point, there was a solid narrative. My mother's narrative was she was a World War II baby. You understand me? The Greatest Generation. You understand me? When she became a teenager, she was a part of the hippie generation in the 60s. These are narratives. My mother didn't coin any of those phrases whatsoever. But folk would say she's from, when me and Kenny came along as Supreme, we were called Generation X.
yeah.
Who the fuck? Who? And when I was young, what up, L? When I was young, I was like, well, is that like Malcolm X? I mean, I'm down with that, but that's not what that meant at all. They were designating our generation. Fuck you mean, Generation X? What you mean? Who told you? Cronus, can you hear me, brother? Unmute your mic. Let me ask you a question, man. Who is in control of the narrative? Let me just give you a definition real quick. And Chester, if you can hear me too. A narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events, a story, right? So who's in control of your narrative, Cronus?
My narrative. Wait. Can you hear me first?
We can hear you.
Okay. In control of my narrative, I believe I'm in control of my narrative.
I like it. Look, everybody, because we didn't have no service before you came in. You know what I mean? We didn't discover some things. Chester B, can you hear me? Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, Chester Davis?
Sorry, guys, my phone had died. So
you all good, Mama? You all good? All right. Well,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, there he is, Chester. Let me ask you.
Damn.
There's a narrative on our planet. Who's in control of your narrative?
Let me just say this. I mean, my first typical answer would be, I'm in control of my narrative, right? But it all depends on how the story's played out and what setting I'm in. Somebody else could try to take control of my narrative too.
Ooh, that reminds me of some folks that call themselves a certain thing and other folks are really that thing. What are you talking about, Dom? Don't do that. Don't get us
Don't do that.
YouTube is, don't do that. What do you mean? I'm just saying that I have an identity. My folk come a certain part of the planet, and other folk is acting like they me. But I know who. I know who I am. So you can't act like you me because you rearranged the words and then gave us a language and control the narrative.
So, Dom, are you saying that we're not in control of our own narrative?
I'm saying that I'm surprised that my young cousin And also Cronus the Ill did not say that the all or God or, people call Allah, like, it's all kinds of names, the force. You understand me? I'm surprised that neither one of them dingbats didn't say that the all was in control of the narrative. See, now they went away. It's like they're on a team. Yo, y'all team ready? We ready. Y'all niggas ready? They ain't ready. Like they ain't ready. Like we out here ready. What's good? Check the ball up.
I'm always ready. I'm always ready.
Check the ball up, my niggas. What's good? Yo, is the all not in control of the narrative? Just for shits and giggles. I'm just curious. The force, God, Allah, like the all in all. Is that not in control of the narrative, or we went away from that? We 2023-ish.
I think he know the narrative. I think he know left or right. It's like when you get to the crossroads. We're gonna take left, we're gonna take right. It's up to us to take left or right. He know what it's gonna be like if it's gonna be left. He know what it's gonna be like if it's gonna be right. And he probably wanted us to go right. But sometimes we want to go left. So we are definitely in control to have the choice to go left or right. And we're going to get the consequence of what's left going to be, and we're going to get the consequence of what's right going to be. I think the Almighty knows the consequences for either left or right, like a parent. I know if you touch the stove, you're going to get burnt. But sometimes we got to touch that stove for ourselves and burn ourselves, and then we learn to leave that stove alone. But either way, you control the narrative to touch the stove or not to touch the stove. You made the choice to get burned or not. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Who made the stove? You understand me?
Pulling them layers.
See what's going on here?
So,
who made the refrigerator? Who not only made the stove, who called it a kitchen? What? You see, I'm talking about the narrative, people. Let's get into it. Let's dial in.
I got it. I got something to say.
Is in control of the narrative. Well, what narrative, Dom? What you mean? You always say, well, what narrative? When you wake up every day, right after you scratch your balls, or women, I don't know what y'all scratch, but whatever y'all scratch.
Wow.
Are you in control of the moments after you wake up? Or must you do something that the narrative is in control of?
Yes.
It's very simple.
Right.
Very simple.
Right.
Well, you have to do something so that the narrative is in control. That's why there's people who get up and they pray in the morning before they take off, because they want that narrative, whether they believe in that higher power, to be in control of their day versus things that actually happen that they see happening to be in control, because that can very well take over, and all of a sudden you're going down a certain path and you really want to go to the right, but you're being led to the left because the narrative is taking you that way. So then you pray so that you can stay on the narrative and the path that you want to be on versus being led.
But I have to interject on that, because getting up to pray, have coffee, maybe have breakfast, maybe go work out. Those are all narratives that have been told that we need to do. And that is not your own narrative. That's what they told you to do. Get some coffee, even though coffee's not good for you. Maybe do something else, even though that's not good for you. These are narratives that were created to live our lives and stuff. Go to work is another narrative that was created and stuff that we're not in control of. We're not in control of none of this shit that you guys think that we're in control of. Somebody else is in control of our narrative. To be real about everything.
Is there any truth to what he's saying?
Well, I would think you want to work out because you want to be healthy. You're working out because you want to keep your body a certain way, not necessarily because
Supreme works out.
Not everybody works out.
Hey, ladies, Supreme be putting naked pictures up on Instagram. I saw Supreme. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, is it Pornhub?
That's another narrative.
I had to
getting
turn
on Instagram, getting on social media. That's another narrative that's thrown as a story to do. So we have been controlled to do a lot of these things that we say that we make our minds to do this stuff. We are in control on every level.
Kenny?
are we being controlled, or is that just what you choose to do?
No,
I mean,
yes, yes.
From what you're saying, I should just wake up and lay there.
No,
Because
you should get up and go connect with nature, but you do that part.
Hold on. You're going to connect with nature. You're going to get up and you're going to go to the bathroom or something. That's the first start.
Bro, he said you're going to connect with it. That's hilarious.
And you're going to connect with some nature.
I know it's called when nature's call.
Nature connected with me.
Someone tells you that, or is that in order that you decide this works for me? Like you said,
somebody told you that
and start exercising, and that works for them.
But somebody told us to do all these things. Somebody told us to do every one of these things that we're doing.
I need to break this fast. And some people say, I don't have time for it. And they get about their day. So is that someone directing your steps, or is that?
Yes. Yes, because you didn't know to do that from the very beginning. Somebody else has been letting you to do this. You didn't know how to do it. You didn't know this.
Telling you to do it is you have to do it.
You don't have to do it.
If you don't do certain things, you don't eat. If you don't move, if you just stay there, your muscles atrophy. So you something. You can't.
But see, I'm not talking about that. Coffee is one of those things that we can do without, but people do it all the time. That's a narrative that's been pushed. We do. We eat certain foods is a narrative that's been pushed. That
to some people, it really tastes good, and I'm not using it to wake me up or something. Somebody might just like the taste.
Yeah, I'm not.
Is it totally?
But isn't it a narrative? It's still a narrative that somebody else told you should do.
Or is that preference?
Well,
it's a narrative.
I think
it's an event.
I love the back and forth, and I think that and y'all both make great points. I think that what Hassan is getting at, quite frankly, is close to the origin of this narrative scenario, which is when we get here, we don't know anything,
and we get a lot of choices.
Are we allowed choices?
Listen, I was lucky enough to be born into a very loving and comfortable scenario, for my formative years. It nestled me and kept me safe. Yeah, it did. But it was a strong narrative going on, like, bruh. Like, a part of the safety, if I'm gonna be 100, was a particular community. They called Christians, they're called maybe Pentecostal Christians, whatever. And these people were pretty peaceful people. Like, there was the occasional fuckery talk, people talking shit, even though you're supposed to be pious and everything. Oh, Sister So-and-so's talking shit or whatever. Shit wasn't used, but whatever. I'm a grown man now. The point is, it was a safe environment for the most part. But also, that environment had a lot of dogma attached to it. Now, I couldn't go into that environment saying, Allah Akbar. Folks would be like, what? Wait a minute. Even though that's saying God is great. Like, I mean, what's the problem? Allah Akbar. What's the problem? It's a Christian Pentecostal church. I'm saying God is great. What's the problem? That program doesn't fit. I'm sorry. That narrative, program narrative, simply doesn't fit within that context or within, that module. That narrative is for someplace else, even though it means the same thing. What's the problem? Why aren't the Muslims and the Christians celebrating the all together?
Here's what I would say: starting off young, are you part of the? Not that you're not part of the narrative. Are you being directed? Oh. So, not all direction is bad direction. True. So, especially as a kid, you can't do for yourself. True. So you have to be led. You have to be raised up. So now that you am I lying? I mean,
that's facts.
Now that you're a child of God, so you're different.
It's not about God.
No. But the whole thing is a child of God means that you're always an infant all the time. You never grow up. You just said grow up, but if you're a child of God, you never grow up because you're still a child.
Why do you never grow up as a child?
Because you're a child. Because you're still a child. A child is not an adult. It's a child. If you consider yourself a child of God, as we're talking about being led.
About that, age is relative. Let's say I'm gonna give you a quick story. I remember I was in the Y, and these two older men.
Weren't you just in Alaska?
Listen, hold on. I'm in the Y, and these two gentlemen was talking. They're 75 years old.
Okay.
And the one says, I seen you talking to that young girl. He says, yeah, she's like 59, got a couple grandkids. So to a 75-year-old,
she young.
This 59-year-old
is a young John.
So when you say you're a child of God, if we're talking about an entity who has no time and space,
point taken.
You want to be a child to him
forever. Point
you
taken.
Don't know what he knows.
I love how everybody keeps saying him. I'm just saying. Look, I know
that means you're leaving out the feminine side too.
No, peep though. I know. See, that's the thing. There is a narrative.
Well, in the book,
the narratives that we have is that it isn't him. I get it. I get it. Yeah. But isn't that what we were taught?
In the book, it says he's a man. Everything about they say about God is a man. Man, he's a man that doesn't lie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they don't say they or them or their. Or hey. They don't have no pronouns. The only pronoun they got in the Bible is him. That's what
I respect. That's hilarious.
53 years of growing up under the book.
Don't do that. Hey, Chess, does God have a pronoun? Oh. I can't hear now. I can't hear you, brother, unless you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. You should ask him.
Oh, yeah. He said Eem. So he's an Eem. Eem. God is an Eem. All right, cool. Hey, look, man.
Whoever you say he is, that's who you want him to be. You ask me, I'll let you know.
I am the beholder.
Listen, it's certain. Let me tell you something. In my life, it's certain arguments that I just don't get into because we're not going to get anywhere. So certain arguments, I'm just grown enough to understand. Hey, people do what they want to do because they do what they want to do because they're controlling their narrative.
Oh, way to bring it back.
The matter of fact, let me ask you a question.
Welcome back.
Let me ask you a question. Oh yeah, I'm here. Let me ask you a question. When you wake up in the morning and you have to go to the bathroom, urinate, do you use the toilet or you use the bed?
Oh. Oh. What narrative is that? Because that narrative is using the bed. Nasty mofo. That's a narrative.
Listen.
Well, and the choice is yours, though.
And the choice is yours.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Who taught you that?
First of all, I know some trifling folks named Crohn's the Ill, and he said it's very satisfying to pee in the bed in the morning. So I tried it out a couple times.
What?
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's warm. It's warm. It feels nestling.
That's a commercial.
And it probably smells up your entire bed. That's gross.
Yeah, I mean, just got a little capital to get another full time.
That's not a commercial.
Are we on left?
That's not commercial.
That's you didn't want me to tell them that how you taught me.
That's not a commercial. First off, this nigga's stupid. If you peeing in the bed, you stupid.
And you got a toilet near you? Come on now.
When you know better. When you know better,
you do better.
When you know better, you do better.
I'm gonna let him go because
if this stupid nigga who can't get up out the bed and go to the bathroom and relieve himself
right now, boy.
That actually has access to all of their bearings. They can get up and get out the bed, walk.
And that's just a stupid
like you got access to all your faculties, and you just wanna evacuate your bowels.
Evacuate.
And then lay in it.
Somebody laying in their bowels right now. Somebody say amen.
Well, Chris. Cronus.
I'm sorry.
Cronus. Hold on, Cronus.
What's up?
But who told you that? Question is, who told you that?
Nobody tells you that by nature. You do that because even animals know to urinate and walk away from their urine. Those animals. Nobody has told you any of that.
Hey, wait a minute. Who told you how to use the toilet? Not urinate necessarily. Using the toilet to urinate.
Okay, using the toilet is one thing. Okay,
using that's what I'm talking about.
We can deal with that one. You know why?
The toilet to urinate.
The Western toilet, most scientists would tell you, really isn't great for our bodies. Like we're supposed to squat. Like I'm being serious.
I got you. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that, ultimately, right, who taught us to use that toilet? Because a lot of medical physicians would tell you that toilet cuts off our bowel and could lead to colon cancer. I'm dead ass. I'm not making that up. I'm just saying. So, yeah, who did teach us to use that toilet? Anybody know? Because again, while it's a great invention for not having anything, right? But just having an outhouse, right? Yeah. It's definitely a plus from an outhouse. Don't get me wrong. Trust and believe. There's another way for us to defecate it. I mean, I don't mean to be vulgar, but there's another way for us to do it that is way more natural to our bodies, and that's science. Actually, that ain't me.
What can I ask a question? Since we asking questions, has anyone in here defecated outside today, or did y'all use a toilet?
Oh,
let's talk about that.
I mean, if I have to go really fast,
I'm a toilet guy. I'm a toilet guy.
I will do it by my car. For sure. I want to have some paper.
That's you just pulling us into the gutter, literally. But
that's emergency.
Delve too deep.
Right, but I'm talking about regularly every day.
I'm guilty.
Have anybody
I'm
today?
Guilty.
Listen.
I am using their narrative. I'm guilty. I use the white toilet.
Yep.
And you know,
all narrative. That's the right word, bad.
To be honest with you,
so I'm saying this. Even though we want to talk about, we pick and choose what narrative we want to use.
Sure. Bars. What you out here? When your album come out? Bars.
We pick and choose what narrative we want to use.
Oh wow.
So we can always use something and say, well, that's not really for me. Well, you choose not to do that. Prem already told us that. That's not for me. You choose not to do that. If somebody wanted to piss in the bed today, being 40 or 50 years old, you can do that, right? Because you choose, but you choose to use the toilet. I don't care how much nature we got. I don't care how much nature we have. We choose to use the bathroom that's assigned, that they told us that's assigned to us. So we choose to use what narrative we want to use. I don't care what we call it. And that's just the truth.
Listen, I can smoke a bag of that. I can smoke a bag of we out here choosing the narratives and putting them together like personal pan pizzas. I can go
exactly.
Listen, I've seen a ratchet weave wearing spandex walking to a Pentecostal church and be praising the Lord. And I'm just like, wait a minute, are we in the club? Like, I've seen, so yeah, she's picking and choosing. She's like, yo, I want to go to church, but I also want to look
I want to wear
home.
But watch this. Since we're here, but I'll say this. But there are some things we don't have a choice of.
Oh.
There are some things we don't have a choice of.
I don't disagree with that because I can't stop my liver right now, so I don't agree.
Right. Hey, some things we don't have a choice of.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, that's a part.
We don't get a choice.
I
can say one.
What choice is that?
I can say one. One, we don't choose who our parents are. We don't choose that.
No. That is not.
Let me
finish. I know what you're gonna do.
Let me finish. Hold up.
I know what Hassan gonna do.
I know, but
that's
listen.
Not correct.
I can't choose who my father.
Where you got birth from?
Yeah,
you can't choose who gives birth.
That is not correct.
Hassan is going to say your spirit jumps into that body. I know what Hassan is going to
say. Decided who your parents was going to be.
I knew he was going to say that.
You can say that, but I'm a pop seed. I'm a pop seed, boss. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Listen.
But you chose your parents when you came into this life. You chose your parents.
Well, I'm gonna say this though. If that's the case, then you got some people whose parents have done horrible things to their children.
Yes,
they chose
that, and that's what they chose.
They chose that
in this life for them to grow.
Good point, Chess. Good point, Chess.
They chose that. Listen, you got fathers raping girls, and they chose that.
Yes, they did. They did.
Hassan, how did they choose something like that? That doesn't make sense.
Y'all got Kenny over here speechless. This is a first.
That's why.
I just want to hear how he came to the conclusion.
Listen, this is as an indigenous person, as the 1,800,000,000 people that came to the earth. We're still a part of that. We don't never die. We keep on reincarnating all the time. So we choose where we reincarnate. We choose our parents. We choose a certain life that we're gonna come in each time. We choose certain sacrifices each time.
No, you're saying that happens prior to even breathing air.
But before we come in, we choose certain things. We chose different things to come in that we're gonna test ourselves each time. We did different tests. We choose those things.
Let me say hello to a profound actor and instructor in the building. Man, a Toby Gaddison.
Yo, what up, Dominic?
Yeah,
What's going
Toby
on,
Gaddison.
brother? Yo, what up to all the cool black people in the house? I'm coming in on the heated discussion. I was like, yeah, they talking heavy.
Hey, you can't say
a fellowship,
black.
bro. It's just
that's another narrative
can't-
right there
you
that
can't
he just
say-
shot up with us. That's
you can't
another
say black.
narrative right
Can't
there.
That's
say
another
black.
narrative.
Toby just come in. You want top of Toby right already.
You can't say
We
black.
talking about narratives, Toby. Toby, we're
Can't say
talking about
black, 'cause
narratives.
Them niggas to start talking once you say the word black. Trust me.
Yep, it's a narrative.
Them
I
niggas,
mean, you know, well,
them
I
niggas
figured it's
gonna
something
start
common we
clapping
can
at
all
you.
kind of relate to, but maybe not.
Them niggas gonna start clapping at you.
So-
cuz.
We accept the word nigga more than black, by the way. I'm being honest.
Okay. Hey, man. You know.
Niggas means
No,
God.
you're right. You're absolutely right.
Accept
I
that
think
more.
Toby knows that
get
niggas
that
means
either.
God, but yeah.
Hey, but nigga mean teacher too in the Bible, but who's gonna say? Hey,
It means
I'm
what?
just letting you know that.
Hey,
Teacher, by the way.
Oh,
Wait, nigga means
Word.
Egypt?
teacher.
Yeah,
Oh, it
y'all
means
get
teacher?
y'all get that. in a minute.
Say what? What do you say?
get it in a minute.
I said,
Okay. But Toby, let me ask you this question since you
I don't know what he said, but okay.
jumped in. We're talking about narrative.
Mhm.
We've already spoke about the definition of narrative, which is a spoken or written account of connected events, a story, right? That's what a narrative is.
Mhm.
The question has been, who wrote your narrative? You can tell us that, but if you're writing your own narrative, what does that look like? Or who wrote your narrative?
Who wrote my narrative?
If at all, yes.
I guess that's a heavy, heavy question. I guess depending on how deep you want to go with it. I guess you could argue that it was pre-written. You know what I'm saying?
See, Tobe come in pious. Everybody else Tobe is from the streets in here. I just want you to know. This is okay, because you're the only one that gave it up to the all first. I mean, I'm not even like a religious king like that, but I'm like, y'all niggas ain't gonna give it up to the all real quick. It's the government. Nah, it's my neighbor, the narrative of my neighbor.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
it's the way you pose the question, though.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
don't attack the moderator.
I think we also, as well, we create our own, like individually. You know what I mean? And the choices that we make and the people that we choose to or not deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, it could be, depending on your vantage point, it could be a number of things.
I like it.
I feel like we can be pressured into that narrative, just like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pressure into your family narrative as far as what they expect, your family expectations of you, your social circle, their expectations of you, your friends' expectations of you. And a lot of times we go to war with that, you know what I mean, being what we're expected to be as opposed to what we feel like we want to be and what's, you know what I mean, and what's really our purpose in life.
Yeah.
So, 100%, I agree with that.
So there's always an ing on your story.
Yeah,
It's always
as long as you're living and breathing, for sure.
Yeah,
There's always an
ing is a verb. Yes, that's verb. Yeah, adverb, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean.
But what are the narratives that we don't control? That's what I'm interested in hearing.
Exactly.
You're right there.
The real stuff. That's right.
You're right there, Val. Because like but let me so narrative again, like go to college. Fucking what is college? Okay. Go to K through 12. What is that? I am a being. I just got here. Let's do it like real elementary. I just got here. Newborn baby. Okay, I'm free. I get to do what I want, right? No, it's like 8 billion people that have been told a narrative. They go with the narrative just before you got here, and they expect you to also fit into the narrative that's already here. So I got here in 70. When I got here, it was Black Power. I'm black and I'm proud. The music was great.
Right.
The afros were halos. You understand me? I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. The afros were halos when I got here.
In the back.
The narrative was that we stick together. Now, let me show you who broke the narrative for me. Real quick story. In Philadelphia, the first major neighborhood I grew up in was Nicetown. before I moved over to Logan. So in the 70s, I'm in Nicetown. And about 77, when I'm 7 years old, me and my friend, Troy, from elementary school, we go to Broad and Erie, right down the street from where Kevin Hart is from. And Troy goes inside of the little coffee shop to get some donuts. I'm outside with both of our little Huffy bikes. Teenager walks up. Yo, man, let me get a ride. Does anybody know how the rest of the story goes?
Oh, absolutely.
Kenny does. I know Kenny know how the rest of the story go. Bean probably know. You understand me? Everybody knows. Yeah, he got a ride, and he
never come back.
You got lifted, nigga.
Hey, okay. So real quick, we speed the story up. Troy comes out. He's crying. His bike is stolen. I got to ride him home on my bike. The next Monday, we're going to school. So again, I told y'all the narrative is that I'm black and I'm proud. It's 77. We all got afros. Troy lived in a group home. I didn't know that until later. He lived in a group home, but he had brothers and sisters, that they all stood together. A teenager, again, from his group home, saw me on my way to school that morning, Monday morning, and golfed me. What did I do? Like, now I got to go to school with a shiner? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Well,
you did do something.
I'm listening.
Got his bike took.
In your story, that teenager came to you and he said, "Can I get a ride?" He didn't say which bike. And in your narrative, you chose to go.
That's why Kenny was one of the smartest cats.
I'm going to give him Troy's bike.
That's why Kenny is always one of the smartest cats on the block.
Give him your bike.
You see how he just figured that shit out? Yes, that was it. Get off your bike and give him your bike to get a ride. How you gonna get that? I think I was savvy young. Yeah,
Troy's narrative was Dom got my bike stolen. Dom gave my bike away.
Yeah, that was the narrative.
Damn, I had to drive Dom home because somebody took his bike.
Right.
And that narrative.
Then I might have had some help. Then they might have helped me go back to Broad and Erie.
Shorty, I'm gonna help you get your bike back.
Bong. Hey, I mess with you, Ken. I mess with you. That's it. That's it. I rerouted the narrative. He said, "Let me get a ride." I knew the circumstance. I was savvy enough to know this nigga's not coming back. He's coming back with this bike. So it was either my bike or Troy's bike. Well, the convenience was I'm already sitting on my bike. I mean, so I'm only holding. I might as well just give him this one because he want to get a ride. He said he just want to ride anyway. That's the narrative. You want to ride. Yeah. Like the narrative bit me in the butt because I didn't control the narrative. And Kenny outlined it. How could you have controlled it, Dom? Well, in that scenario, you could have gave your bike up, rode home on Troy's bike, and then, unbeknownst to me at that moment, but I would have had an army of, a group home kids go with me to Broad and Erie and see what's good. That could have been the case, but Kenny is right. I chose my own narrative, and I got the shiner. So the part of my narrative was you army Monday morning.
Well, your narrative got rerouted when he hit you in the face. That changed then too.
Like he didn't even play about it. Golf. He's like, "Your name Dom?" "Yeah, my name's Dom." Golf. Oh, the first time I got golf.
Was that you got golf?
That was the first time I got golf. Was that an official golfing? He walked away. He didn't. Was that an official?
He said, "You figure it out."
So all I'm saying is, it's interesting that most of us said we write our own narratives. Even though I'm not much of a pious cat, I have respect for all religion, and I'm totally a spiritual cat. And I just think that ultimately the all has the narrative control. I'm going to shout out the all. Whatever you want to call the all, Allah, God, the supreme one. Not you, Primo, but you know what I mean. You got to.
Dom, that's not true.
Oh, hold on.
Come on with it, Hassan.
What's true? Hold on.
I'm gonna be clear. That's not true because if the all controls the narrative, then who's the one that coined the phrase black? Who's the one that said that we came from Africa? Who's the one that always pushed this racist narrative down our throat in America all the time?
No.
Is it the all who did that, or the people that control the media? Because they control the narrative.
We in a space right now. We're in a space. Supreme just said the white man.
And that's who controls. That's the narrative.
Check it out. I got a good
but
question.
You can't even say that if you're saying what you're
But not
saying.
everyone accepts that narrative.
What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you
There's
say?
been somebody pushing back.
But nobody pushes back.
Who made you black or white?
I'm gonna tell you,
Fellas,
that whole thing about the
fellas.
basketball girl.
Hassan.
What's up?
Who made you black or white? Isn't this a strong narrative that we all kind of ride under? Who made you?
That's the narrative.
Like if you got a choice when you got here to be black or white, because you got the definitions. Okay, culturally they say black is this, and culturally they say white is this. But
I want to be white.
Right. They told you that you black. So it's like, wait a minute, I want to be the best. Y'all saying the best is white, yet you calling me black? That's crazy because I'm the best.
So who made that narrative? That's crazy.
So that narrative. Because y'all
there.
literally fucked up. I'm the best and I'm brown. I'm not even black. I'm literally brown.
That's exactly what I was about to say. We're not
brown
even black.
apart. You see, I'm questioning the
Black
narrative.
to them. We were black.
Their narrative that's to us, they haven't always believed because they're out there getting trying to get bigger lips.
Suntan?
Bigger butts.
They're trying to look like
Yeah, but it's what they didn't value initially. They made
I remember once somebody told me they had great tan. I said, that's a fake tan. I said, I can lay in the basement for 2 years and this tan ain't going away.
You know what I'm saying?
Believe it or not, white people know the truth. They've been knew the truth.
Yeah, black people, brown is
they sold us the lie to keep us in control, and we
So you don't
believe
always
the
have
lie.
to accept the story.
Well, he's on to something. I think Primo's on to something.
But exactly because the word black has been a lie because we're not even black. If it's based on status law, we're not even black.
Chris's hat is black. Chris's hat is black. Chris is not black. He's brown.
Yeah, but just black colors a narrative. Like, if you guys want to keep going deep with it, I mean, why does color that's dark have to be black? Maybe it could be something else.
And now, you're right.
Well, black means stat is based on status and stuff. If you guys don't realize that, that's why
Hassan,
that narrative of calling the
Hassan, let's unfold it like a lotus. Remember the lotus? One petal at a time. Let's get there. We're gonna get there, Hassan. I promise you, we're gonna get there. Right? But right now, we're talking about the colors, like the fact that we accepted. We were young. We didn't know any better. But we accepted, okay, so we black and y'all white, and y'all get to act like fools and do it, and we're supposed to, what?
And we pay for it.
Who did that? I just got here. Why do I need to follow that? Like, I'm not black. I love my people. I'm melanated. Oh yeah, I'm Toby's brother, for sure. I'm not black though. I'm not your narrative.
Okay, but how do you answer those questions then when they appear on application or your driver's license and all that? How do you answer that question?
Well, luckily, thank the heavenly all. I haven't filled out an application. I don't. What is it?
Or just, I mean, do you have a driver's license?
You kind of asking me real personal questions now. You kind of doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still a Philly.
You're the one who said you
calm
shit
down.
in the bed.
I'm out here in LA. I'm out here in LA too. Tob, I know you're biased, man, but
can I answer Valerie's question though?
She asked a lot of questions that got to do with a lot of government.
It doesn't matter. The point is how do you answer that question?
You can answer the question, Valerie, by saying you're more. You can answer that question by that statement. Okay.
If I were to fill out an application, Val, I wouldn't put anything of I wouldn't put white, black, or anything. Like if
on your driver's license, you do not put that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You're not supposed to.
I would not.
So it's unanswered.
You're not supposed. You're not supposed to.
Yo, let's cross over to Hassan's point about status law. And if you go into a court of law in the United States and use the narrative that you're black, you're going to have a problem. Go ahead, Hassan.
So if you do that, then basically you consider yourself a slave. You're legally dead at the same time, too. That's why they're able to kill so-called black people, because based on status law, black means you're dead. You're without law.
Now that may seem, hold on, Hassan. That may seem like, no, y'all kid, that ain't real. That's not right. Bruh, this place is nuts. Like, Do I need to remind all the melanated folks here that this place, their narrative that they gave us, people are crazy enough to tell you how heinous they were before you got here, with pictures and and books, and they tell you the narrative. So when I get here, you're like, yeah, we're monsters, but we're the best. What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We are human, but you're 3/5 human. See, I have to always do this. I'm sorry.
Gods,
Man.
Dom.
I
Not
have-
humans.
I have to do
Gods.
it. It's fun to do it. Because my ancestors are jumping up and down, praising right now that I'm about to do this.
Gods, Dom.
I am
not
a human
humans.
being. You know why I'm a human being? Because I have hue. Guess what? This isn't my language. I've just mastered it. Hue means color. I have color. Now, you folk, you know who I'm talking to. Europeans, you like to boast that you don't have color. Like that's some kind of like, okay, you don't have color, but then that would mean you're probably 3/5.
Or not human.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so to be clear, the people with melanin are the gods.
I didn't say it. Kenny said it. Kenny said it.
No, we're the gods, and they're actually human. If you guys don't realize that,
Okay,
we're
let's
gods.
get back to narrative. Let's get back to narrative because Kenny told me the other day that we go off topic, and Hassan be talking about spaceships and health. I was like, all right, I feel you. He do be on like, okay, cool. Listen, the narrative, Primo. We've had some great quotes about narrative. If there is an all or an almighty or a God or an Allah, and it's in control of all things, how's the narrative that you have free will? How does that both work? If God is in control of all things, how do you also have free will? Doesn't that sound a little convenient? Doesn't that narrative sound oxymoronish? But I'm listening. Go ahead.
I mean, it say what we grew up in, as far as Bibles, Christianity, religion, whatever. It say, God got the plan for you before you even was born, and His plans are good and peace and great life if you follow what He said.
Okay.
Or if you follow His plan, you got the goal, He got the plan.
Yeah.
But most people say, I am me. I am a human. I am black. I am whatever I am. I am a God. I am a this. I am the narrative. And He say, you go do you, and you'll be back. And most people come back, and most people do come back. And most people do come back like, Lord, please, I done messed up. I done went too far with my shit. And now I want to be what you want me to be. And then He said, and then I'm at your mercy. Can you give me grace? Can you give me mercy? Can you give me everything that you said you were gonna give me in the beginning? Yeah. Now, Him being a forgiving God, He'll say, I forgive you, son. Now come on with me and let me show you how daddy rolled. And then what happens is you still gotta face your earthly consequences. You're not gonna murder somebody and then pray to God and not go to prison. Now, when you go to prison, you might find God and say,
whoa, hold on. I'm just saying, there's consequences. There's consequences to your action. I guess my question is, what if it was a righteous kill? Meaning an eye for an eye. Don't the Bible say an eye for an eye?
No, I'm saying if you murder somebody out of cold blood because they rang your doorbell, you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah, that's
what about all those all those pedophiles and stuff and that nothing happened to them? There's no consequences for them, so I don't know that.
There's nobody gets away from consequences.
That's bullshit. The people who just raping all these, what you mean? It's going on right now. That case where Epstein case where people having all those kids, nothing happened to them.
Let me challenge you.
I promise you, everybody got a conscience.
Hold on, Brim. Let me get him.
There's no such thing as good and bad, so that's not true.
Let me get him, Brim. Hold on. Son, I know you a little bit. I know that you know and understand the 7 principles, the 7 Hermetic principles.
Yes, but I know this.
Which one is polarity?
Yes.
You understand me? Another one is balance.
Yes.
You understand me? So right there, Hassan, the molester that does wrong has to, by universal
nature.
No. That's not true because there's no such thing as good and bad. whatever.
Hey, I didn't say that. Hey, you're missing my point. I said to you polarity. I said polarity. What's polarity, son?
But listen, right and wrong.
Well, okay, so if you talk about polarity, Caucasians have been treating melanated people so bad for so long, right? Okay, but they also escape karma by doing these rituals and stuff. So where's the polarity there? They do this karma rituals and stuff to not have their karma.
You know what I would say to that, Hassan?
I promise you. I promise you.
They don't escape, brother. You keep thinking they don't escape.
A lot of them are miserable. A lot of them hurt people because they hurt. A lot of them hurt people.
But first of all,
miserable.
do you understand?
They're millionaires. They're rich.
Do you actually understand the karma that so-called black people are under? Listen. The so-called black people are getting their karma based on how they used to treat the white people back in the day. The Moors used to be doing all kind of stuff. So that's why the melanated people have been 400 years of all this just trauma because of their karma. If you guys don't realize that, that's why most melanated people in the state they're in because of their trauma, their karma that they're getting. Okay,
I'm saying I believe everybody get what they deserve.
I'm into that.
But then we have to think about it this way too.
What goes around comes around.
Go ahead, Joe.
This physical body is just that. It's a physical body, and which means that when we lay it down, the spirit that is inside, this isn't nothing but an earth suit. So you may not necessarily see people get there just doing. I'm with you because I be feeling the same thing. Like, yo, how come, you know what I'm saying, they ain't getting they act right? How come they ain't getting that get back? However, when you lay this body down, you will be in front of God. You know what I'm saying? And that,
but the body. Wait, hold on. That's not true either because let's think about. Okay, so this body, no, it's not because this body feels pain, right? Correct.
Absolutely.
Hot and cold, but your spirit does not. So what are you talking about?
That's
well, see, here's
what's your point? What's your point, though?
The hellfire and stuff doesn't exist because your body ain't gonna feel pain.
What I'm saying is your soul, your spirit absolutely feels pain and discomfort. That's where depression. You know what I'm saying? That's where this
good counter. It's a lot of great volleying going on back and forth.
That's a lot of where what we consider mental illness is. That's where, you know what I mean, all of that is. Now
mental illness started because people don't do their inner work and do shadow work. That's why they got mental illness.
I mean, you know,
but I get that.
I get it, but
they don't connect to the chakras.
But I mean, you can still connect to the chakras, you know, however, and still be off.
I think Joel brings up a good point about depression. Like your spirit, you know, if you're depressed, that's a spiritual thing for sure. Like your spirit is there. Let me let Kenny jump in this. Let me let Kenny jump in this real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ken.
No, what I was just ready to ask. Well, I forgot my train of thought. I was listening to the good brother who made better points. So I don't need to go into it. Like he said, your soul does feel things. When people
I can smoke a bag
all the time,
son,
I was restless in my soul.
Son, you know that me and you are congruent on a lot of philosophy, but I can smoke a bag of the spirit is always alive, my nigga. Fuck you mean? Hold on. Let's get the math right now. You see, I don't need to read shit at this point to know what spirit is, to understand the moment. I'm Jedi. I'm elder. You understand me? You may not like the way it's coming, but it's coming. The spirit feels everything, bro. Fuck you mean? The spirit is infinite and for all ways. Now, the spirit may not have a memory the same. They're like, oh, I can remember when I was in my dad's balls. But you best believe we were always alive. I've never been dead. Never. I've always been alive. And so then I come to this plane of existence and I have a lot of folk telling me what's going to happen next as a narrative. But one thing is for sure, I don't need nobody's narrative. You know why? Because naturally I'm going to transform like the caterpillar to the butterfly. And that's just a natural thing. I don't need anybody's dogma to know that I'm going to transform again because I'm a part of God. Now, again, the narrative is that, you know, we're outside of God somehow. Like I don't really know how that works. That doesn't really, I'm studying all that. You know, I'm not a believer. I study until I know. And that keeps me in a good space. Like that way I can always be hearing information. I'm not committed because I'm studying. I got to study. And then you know what? God is transition anyway. Is this moment the next moment? Is this moment the moment that just passed? Right. God is constantly changing. God is transformation. No? I mean, this moment is constantly moving, right? God is, right? Is God not? No, God is, correct? So God is this moment, right? Everything in this moment, even this speech. Well, you say, well, you got free mind, Dom. God is free. Think about that. Is God not free? Does God not have free will? As is above, so is below. I mean,
yes, this is true.
You can tell me when I sound crazy, but at the end of the day, there's some things that I'm congruent with sign on. There's other things I'm congruent with chess on. You know what I'm saying? Because because the spirit does feel, bro. You got to get that right. You got to get that right, homie. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. We're here. This is live. You think the spirit is waiting for waiting for some shit? Nigga, we are the spirit. Fuck you mean? Fuck you mean? How do you think I'm talking to you? How do you think I'm so animated? My spirit is ill like a motherfucker. Some of us got real stagnant spirits. Nigga, my spirit is mad. Toby, you know me, bro.
And you have people that actually speak in the spirit. Don't forget that.
So, Son, I have to disagree with you on that.
I'm talking about spirit don't feel pain. That's what I'm talking about.
Of course it does. Stop it.
I don't
believe
that.
You mean?
Because it's not a physical body. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's not a physical body.
Well, okay.
Physical body feels pain. I'm not talking about pain.
I feel you. Oh, okay.
Right. I'm talking about pain.
Okay. Toby illuminated something. He said depression. Depression is
that's emotions. Yes.
That's why Toby opened it up for me when he said depression, because of course the spirit.
Yes.
So depression.
I believe. I'm on board. I'm on board with that. No. I'm just talking about the pain. The pain.
I'm not talking about
spirit. Don't feel pain. I'm talking about
physical pain is something else. But that spirit is that of happiness or joy, yes. or depression.
Yes.
And I'm gonna fuck you up. That's spirit.
Heartbreak.
Yeah, or heartbreak. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Chris, can I ask you a question?
Got that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be respectful. So, Chris, at the end of the day, who controls your narrative? You know the context we've been speaking. You know that from the K-12, you know that we didn't control that. But at the end of the day, do you think you're more controlled by the elements that you've been taught by, or an inner spirit controlling your narrative?
As far as controlling it, I believe that I'm still controlling the narrative.
Okay. Valerie, you've been the lone wolf today. How was your sandwich? Did you finish your sandwich?
I sure did.
He golfed it down.
Did you bring some for everyone? Did Toby get a slice?
You guys aren't here.
Toby's our guest tonight. Did Toby get it? Did you even offer Toby a slice?
Why would I offer it and you guys aren't here?
No, don't do that.
I don't deliver.
Don't do that. That's the problem. You don't deliver.
Do deliveries.
You up in there by yourself. Okay. So Kendall Mickens, man, give us something to round this off with. I mean, the narrative is a mofo, bro. Because they're like the deacon said, Chester said, there's narratives that we choose. Some we choose, some we reject. If you're born in India, if I'm born in India and we're born in the same block in Mumbai, Kenny, chances are we're Islamic right now. Chances are. Now, I still might be a weirdo, but I would have probably started off in Islam. I started off in Christianity. You understand me? Because the narrative in that part of the world is such. So, Preem, if you're born in China, you might be a Buddhist. From the gate, so, I mean, again, there are certain narratives that if you look at it, there's like a market share of narrative. Hear me real quick. On planet Earth right now, you can look at different geographic locations and it's like a market share of a narrative. What is this? Well, this is Irish Catholic right here. Irish Catholic, you know what I mean? They capitalistic. Oh, what's down here? Oh, this is third world. They're Christian. They have Christian, what they call missionaries come in. They're really impoverished. Well, what's this right? Oh, this is Beverly Hills. These are Jewish people. You understand me? These are Ish people. They got money. These are narratives, right? These are all narratives that we know well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
None of us created them. I guess I'm just saying, and again, I know an internet DJ that said it first and said it well. I don't know about saying it first, but he said it well. And it's that if you're not in control of your narrative, who's in control of your narrative? Again, the reason why I stopped being a believer, you all, is not because I don't think that there's an all. I know there's an all. That's the thing. I don't need to believe what I know. Like I know that there are glasses right here on my face with no frames. I know that. I don't need to believe that. But there's a narrative that we've been taught and that we all agree we didn't create. I think that's problematic for real thinkers, for real spiritual warriors. I think it's a problem.
How do you get away from the narrative? You have no choice in some cases to be a part of the narrative. Just for instance, if you're purchasing something, it takes money to do that. So if you don't want to be, that's a narrative in itself. So if you don't have money, then you can't purchase something. And then what?
I agree with you. It's very, it's not a, I don't, for number one, I don't have the answers. But.
And I would also like to add, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? So it's, you could have your own personal narrative. And I agree with the sister said, but whatever narrative you have for yourself, it may change depending on who you're talking to as it applies to you. It's a very fluid type of a thing. You know what I mean? You could have people that say, yeah, Michael Jackson was the greatest ever. People are like, no, Chris Brown is the greatest ever.
Right.
I'm just saying, just as an example. You know what I mean? You have these arguments all the time. Who's the greatest, Kobe, LeBron, or MJ? And depending on one's experience, the narrative, whatever it may be, may fluctuate. You know what I'm saying? So we may talk about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and how great that they are, whatever. But a whole nother person, for whatever reason, may totally agree. And whoever's in power at that moment can alter or change the narrative regardless of how we view ourselves.
His story.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? And then they might have influence over a whole fear influence of somebody else and may change their narrative on you. So I think the narrative is circumstantial and it's not as concrete.
That's honest. That's honest. That's honest though. That's honest. That's trippy, but that's honest. Go, son.
Right. So you don't have a choice sometimes.
I feel what they both saying is kind of like the difference between religion and spirituality. In a sense, because you walk in your walk or you walk in somebody else's walk, as far as she's saying.
That's deep.
You know
what?
You walk in your own walk and doing your own thing. Forget that other shit, the other narrative. I'm gonna walk my walk, and I'm gonna flower my plant.
Those people who have done that have become great leaders.
Well, hold up. Well, since we here
on site.
Hey, there is no difference between quote unquote religion and spirituality.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Because spirituality means breath. And religion means you're redoing something.
Hey, wait a minute. But guess what? You breathing somebody else's breath that gave you because we didn't give ourselves our own breath. But hey, we can talk about that later. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna stop both of y'all because the truth is that's a whole show and that's for real. Religion, spirituality, that's a whole can of worms.
That should be our next show.
And I'm gonna just listen. Hey, I'll just say this, and I'm done. I'm gonna just say this. You know what I mean?
You're just gonna punch a cat in the mouth and run away. Okay, cool.
Oh no, I ain't punching nobody in the mouth. We talking, man. It's opinions, right? We talking. It's opinions. We talking. It's opinions.
That's right. That's
opinions, bro.
You know I'm just messing with you, bro. You know I'm just.
I know. Hey, and opinions it's like behinds. Everybody got one. Wow. So hey. Anyway, I'm just saying. I'm just happy that I am a believer because it helps me to understand some narratives that I cannot control. For instance, like Don, you gave a story. You said that the young boy came to you when you was at the coffee shop and said, I want a ride. Now, the narrative was he was getting somebody's bike and it could have been yours, but you helped the other boy's narrative because you said, here, take his bike. And what happened was you got punched in the face later on. So two things happened.
I definitely got a shiner for it. But at the moment, the math was like my bike or his bike.
But watch this. The narrative could have been your bike, but you let his narrative become his bike got stolen. And then your narrative became you got punched in the face.
The villain.
And
I became the shiner. Yes.
and you also paid for what you did before.
Lesson
That was a
learned.
payment.
Yes.
That was a payment.
Yes.
Somebody set. Watch this. Somebody set that up. Who did?
In motion. Hello.
Well, listen, I love the idea of who set that in motion, because who set that narrative in motion to make y'all even have to make those choices? Listen, that's why I said I was surprised that when folks came in, I first asked who wrote your narrative. Folks didn't say the all or God. I mean, because at the end of the day,
You didn't ask me. You didn't ask me.
No, you can't. Well, but that's because you was late, brother.
I got you, brother.
Thank you for saying
I love
you.
you.
You understand me? Don't do that, brother. You understand me? I respect you, brother. Don't do that. Don't do that. We was up in the sanctuary having devotion. Kenny is saying a whole rendition of Jesus' blessing.
Oh no!
The world today. You understand me? Above him, there's no other.
No!
Allah is the way. Anyway, listen.
Oh no!
Listen, I hear you. I hear you on that narrative. And at the end of the day, somebody set me and that thieves, hustlers, life on course anyway. They told me what a bike was. I wouldn't have called it a bike. I didn't make that word up. Again, I am being anal about the fact that we need to question the narrative. I mean, we talked about spells a couple weeks ago, and the very idea that all this stuff is given to us is at least a narrative, if not a spell. Look at here. We are not experts, but we all have opinions, and they're all welcome here at Opinion Nation. So don't trip out. At some point, we're going to have some lines, and folks can call in and give their opinions too, so we can hang up on you when we don't agree. Let's go around the room right now and get some shout outs. Let's start with the ladies first. And the ladies first. Ooh,
hey.
Val.
Okay, I'm Val Forensic Gal, and you can catch my show Cybersecurity U on OneStream.tv every Fridays at 2 p.m.
Yeah, I checked it out last week, by the way. Good show. With Michael
thank you. I did good, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Michael
You had a great guest, Michael Collier. Yeah.
Yeah, he's real funny. Yeah, it was what's up. It was good from beginning to end, so y'all need to check it out. And my Instagram is at Val, VALL, Forensic Gal.
Bong.
Yeah.
Cronus the Ill. I love you, brother. We didn't really go back and forth today. You called me a
Thank God.
Today. You didn't call me a nigger. You called me a nigger today. That's a narrative. That's a narrative that you don't have to use. You know the word negus. We know now that nigger is actually negus. You don't have to use European racist terms with me, brother. You understand me?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay, cool.
All right, now what's up?
I was just give a shout out to folks. Give a nigger shout out.
Okay.
You always put him in a bad mood, Tom.
This is one of my best friends in the universe. I promise you. He's actually Chess' best friend, but I took him from Chess.
Yeah, you be always doing some kind of way. Okay.
It's the miles apart. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my guy.
I love that guy, man. Look, I love that guy. Period. This is one of the best dudes on planet Earth. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't in this room if you ain't cool. I promise you that. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Nah, you catch me on Instagram, KRONISTHEILL, Cronus the Ill. Catch me at LA Fitness, bench pressing the standard, man.
You ain't doing nothing in there. Okay.
Hey,
D.
I can tighten you up too, cuz.
Mute yourself, brother. Mute yourself, brother.
I can tighten you up, cuz.
Whoa. This is a highly academic and spiritual space.
Exactly, cuz. You
can take that ratchet affair out into the streets where you belong, sir.
See, and this is the crazy thing about the narrative. Niggas be hating.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
Niggas be looking in the mirror while they're saying that. Okay, Chess.
I'm gonna mute up though. Preem, I love you, Preem.
Love you too, brother.
You don't love Val? That's weird. Okay.
I know you don't love me. That's that.
Nah,
I love Val.
I double tap on Val. Chill.
D, can you tell the folks where they can catch your troop, and unmute yourself, brother? Go ahead. Chester, that's you.
I got you, brother. I know you something. I got you. I was waiting for you to finish talking.
Yes, sir.
No. Listen, I'm Chester, man. Y'all can catch me on Instagram CHESKNOWS, Chess Knows. Or you can do Chester Davis Music Group.
Yeah.
That's another thing I got going on, you know what I mean? And y'all can just catch me in Philly, or you can catch me in VA, because I'll be out here too. So hey.
Let me give a shout out to the Chester Davis Music Group. Excuse me. Let me get that right. Chester Davis Music Group. It don't really matter if you in the gospel. Like, if you go check them out, it's lit. I promise you. Like, if you just like dope music, yeah, it'll have a message with it too. You might catch something. But yo, it's lit. They lit. So shout out to the Chester Davis Music Group.
And let me just say this, man. Shout out to everybody on here. Like, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Hey, this is good. This is good, healthy conversation.
Even Hassan?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Chester, a word of advice. Can you bring your camera a little up higher?
Yeah, this guy.
Nobody
I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down like in a.
I'm just
like
messing with you, man.
I got you. That's all good, bro.
The ladies, right there.
Academic zoo. You know what I'm saying? Just nerdy zoo going on. Kendo Mickens.
I love y'all, man. Y'all crazy, man.
Yes, sir, man. We love you too, bro. Kendo, tell them what you at, man.
At Kendu_Kenny L.
Yeah.
And let me give a shout out to the Amish who start off directing your path, but then give you a choice on whether or not you want to stay in the narrative.
Bomb, that's real.
Shout out
do
to
that.
the Amish.
They do that.
They do that.
Yeah, what is it like around teenager, like 17 something, where you can either stay with the faith or you got to get up out of here. You can go to New York City if you want.
The narrative or go make your own path.
Springer.
Yeah.
Rum Springer.
Yeah. Okay.
That is about.
So
yes, sir.
Damn,
talk to him, man.
Awesome.
Tell him about the acting district. Tell him about the school that you teach. Come on, man.
Word. Well, before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to you.
Hey, brother.
I want to give a shout out to my brother Dom. I met this brother when I just moved from DC to Philly.
Yeah.
He had said something, I'll never forget it. He had said something to me that honestly, I tell you all the time, but I want to tell it out to the world. He had said something to me that honestly, metaphorically set the tone for my whole life. I wanted to sing or what have you. We was working at, I don't want to date ourselves. We was working.
No, it's cool. I'm good, man. You don't got that.
I was singing, and then Dom goes. He said, "Man, you got a nice voice and all, but it's too breathy." He said, "Man, you need to put your voice in front of the breath, like." And to me, that registered, "Let your voice be heard." And so I always took that and walked it out into a brother that I've always seen and known, and we reconnected. Yo, you keep putting out dope work. You don't care. You are unapologetically you. You keep that art thing going, and you're one of these geniuses that I want the whole world to know, man. I've always been in awe at who you are, what you do, and how you do it, because you ain't no joke. So I appreciate you for that, for being a real brother. You know what I mean?
Yay.
Hey,
great
moment. Black men, melanated men. Just giving love to melanated men, it ain't got nothing to do with no fruitiness. You understand me?
Nah.
Melanated men loving melanated men.
I have a profound respect and love for my brother Dom. Even the fact that he changed his name, I'm like, nah, Dominique Superstar. Crazy. Love it. So for me, you can check me at the Actors District online.com. You can check that out. The Actors District online.com. You can check out the Actors District on IG. You can check me out. My pic, Toby Gaddison, TOBIGADISON on Instagram. And we have 2 locations, one in Philly and one in Atlanta at Triller Studios, where all the Marvel movies are made. So if you're trying to get to act on in a place where you ain't going to get exploited and you want the art for real, in the purest form as far as the aesthetic, come holler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, man, goes without saying, man. Thank you for that. I mean, like I don't even know what to say to that, but thank you for that lovely shout out, bro. And just know, everybody, the Actors District is that work in Atlanta and Philly. If you want to get your acting career started and get it done in a proper, instructed way, the Actors District. That's for sure. Yo, Preem, did I come
Nah.
Hey, where can they find you, bro? What you got going on this week?
Oh man, we got a couple shows coming up. We follow the band Supreme, SUPREEM, and the New Experience on IG.
Yeah.
Or hit me up directly, Supreme, SUPREEM, on IG. And everything that you need to know about the band is Supreme and the New Experience.com. You know what I mean? And we are at anywhere there's funk need to be, we are there to regulate it.
Say word.
Yes.
Say word.
Cream the legend out this thing. Cream the legend.
Before I go to Hassan, I just want to say, Kenny and Toby's camera. Are y'all niggas from the future? Like what? What camera? Like y'all niggas look like y'all are separated from the back of life. Like what type of trickery? Okay, Hassan, what color?
What's wrong with his camera?
Blur the background.
Yeah, how do you do that? How do you do that?
You know the cameras are great. They got some like new. I don't even know. They got some great cameras. Where can they find what we love and how we live and that juice?
It's called We Juice.
Yeah, it is.
WeJuice.com.
And they're delicious.
We as in French, OUI, not WE. This right juice is, hold on, you can't see it, but this is surprisingly sweet.
Okay.
You know, grapefruit, cantaloupe, and pear. So I'm going to feature a different juice every time. Grapefruit, cantaloupe, and pear. And grapefruit, well, cantaloupe is one of those good things for your hydration. All the juices are for really hydration because water doesn't hydrate you. So cucumber, coconut, melons, celery, mangoes are the highest form of hydration and has electrolytes in it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's always important to juice. WeJuice.com. Catch me there. And that's it. You know?
Nice one.
There's no we without you
and I.
It's wonderful to fellowship with folk that are thinkers, folk that are at least willing to give space to more information. You know, I get it, man. Like, can't nobody, I get it. I get it. Like, I was raised in a certain element that kept me safe and warm and right. And yes, I've deviated from that space, but not really mentally or spiritually. Like, you know, the narrative is not the same, but a lot of the elements, the fundamental elements are. You understand me? So not to be cryptic, but I was raised in a Christian environment, right? And while I may not be Christian in this moment, a lot of the tenets of Christianity are there. And I ain't killed a nigga yet.
Damn.
So there was a profound effect that environment, that Christian environment, had on this cat that now has knowledge of self. Now I'm not going, you know, make an excuse for knowledge of self, y'all, because knowledge of self is where it's at. And you know, you either got it or you don't. And I get that. And just like a baby, right? We are taught things. And just like a baby, we start to walk. But eventually, some of us start to run. Some of us start to fly. Some of us transcend. Listen, we all have opinions, and they're all welcome here. And we welcome you back next week for another round with your boy Kendo. You know, he'll be here. Preem will be here. Hassan will be here with contrary views to everything. Valerie will be here.
I don't fiend for his opinions. It's
Listen,
like, what? Let me get that.
I just happen to have different knowledge and stuff, and I do a lot of searching on a lot of information, and all this information is out there and stuff. You know, so I just have different information than you guys do.
You better than the rest of us. I know. Honestly, I hear you.
I didn't say all that. I didn't say all
that. Don't throw that
We're
narrative out there. Come on,
it's a narrative. It's
a
narrative.
That narrative out there.
We are still taping, Kenny.
Someone's narrative?
Huh?
Not you.
Listen, we're leaving now. We're leaving now. The narrative is changing, right? It's ever changing, is it not? But who's in control of it is the question. Really, we always end with the question, because what is the answer? In a changing universe, what will the answer ever be? Will we ever when change is always afoot? We will see you next week. Thank you again for being here.
Peace.